Welcome students, welcome to Accountancy Point where we study the various accounting concepts of class 11 and 12. Today I am here to continue with the second video of class 11 accountancy where we are going to study about the basic accounting terms. Children, this particular chapter will play a very important role in your life because the terms which we are going to discuss right now will be used throughout your life till you will take your last breath. These accounting terms are such terms which will be frequently used in each and every chapter of accountancy, whether it is in standard 11 or 12, or you do your graduation or your masters, or you do CA or MBA, whatever will be your course, whatever will be your career, you will need all these terms throughout your life. Children, these basic concepts or basic accounting terms are very much important, and we will begin our discussion with some of these basic terms. The first basic terms which we are going to take is the event. Now, you must be surprised what an event is. If we take a literary meaning of the event, we will understand that event is nothing but a particular situation which may arise. In business, in accounts, event means any occurrence. It is any occurrence or happening which take place in the business. Anything which happens in a business is referred as an occurrence or happening. It may affect the financial condition of the business or may not. It may or may not affect the financial condition. What do you mean by financial condition? Financial condition means the assets and liabilities of the business may get affected by it. Let us take a small example that a customer visited your shop. Let us understand that you have a shop and a customer came to your shop to buy a particular product. Now, what will be the situation? It is an event. Whether he buys the product or does not buy the product. If he buys the product, that means your financial condition will change. If he does not buy, it may not change. So, only when a customer visits your shop, it is an event which may affect your financial condition or may not affect. The second term is referred as a transaction. Now, what are transactions? Children, transactions are any events. Transactions are any event which can be measured in monetary terms and at the same time must change the financial position of the business. That means an event which can be expressed in terms or measured in terms of money. Now, can you say this example which I had taken, a customer visited your shop, is it a transaction? No. Why is it not a transaction? Because in this particular sentence, we cannot compare it in terms of money. nor it has changed my financial position. I will take another example. A customer sent me or sent us an order to supply goods of rupees 1 lakh. We are business owners, so we have received an order that we have to supply goods of rupees 1 lakh. Now, if you can see, there is an order received and it is expressed in terms of money. But will you consider it as a transaction? You may say, sir, yes, it is expressed in monetary terms, so it may be considered a transaction. But here you have forgotten the second condition. What is that? It must change the financial position. So has this transaction changed your financial position? The answer is no. Why not? Because this person has just sent an order. He has neither paid me the money nor I have supplied the goods. So this is not a transaction. It is an event. Still it is an event. Why? Because it cannot be, it has been expressed in terms of money, but it has not changed the financial position. So in order to be, but besides that, if I say that a customer sent us an order to supply goods of rupees 1 lakh along with an advance of rupees 25,000. Now, yes, this particular line is eligible to be called a transaction. Why? Because I have received money, so it is expressed in terms of money, and when I will receive money, my cash position, the cash which was available with me, will increase, and at the same time my liability has also increased because I will have to supply goods. Now it is for confirmed. So such type of transaction which has both these features will be only considered as a transaction. Now, the third point which we have to understand are the vouchers. Have you ever heard this word, vouchers? Okay, let me tell you one thing, children, that in accountancy or in accounting, it is very much necessary to have certain evidence. Only then a particular transaction can be recorded in the books of accounts. If you have made a transaction, suppose I have received this 25,000, but I do not have any evidence for this, how will I write it in the books of accounts? You went to market, you bought a pen, but you have paid rupees 50. You came to your shop and told your owner or your friend, dear, I have bought this particular pen for rupees 50, recorded in the books of accounts. Your accountant will not be able to record this particular transaction until or unless you give an evidence that you have really purchased this pen. So, vouchers are nothing but they are the evidences or proofs that they are the proofs that you have made a particular transaction. So, what are those evidences on the basis of which business transactions are recorded in the books? If these evidences are not there, the accountant will not be able to record the transactions, however important the transaction may be. If evidences are there, they can be recorded. So what are those transactions? We call them source documents. Why are they called source documents? They are called source documents because on the basis of these documents, the transactions will be recorded in the books of accounts. They are like invoice, bills, cash memo. Have you heard these terms? Bills, cash memo, invoice. There are many else like debit note, credit note, payment, payment vouchers, receipts vouchers. Okay, so these are some of the source documents, or these are some of the documents on the basis of which business transactions are recorded. Now once again I repeat that if you do not have these source documents, the transaction will not be recorded in your books. And after the transactions are recorded, you are supposed to keep these vouchers and cash memos and these evidences very, very safely, because at the end of the year, when you have prepared your balance sheet, you will have to carry the balance sheet and books of accounts and all these vouchers to your chartered accountant, who will go through, who will match each and every transaction. He will keep the vouchers, he will keep your books, and he will match. Voucher is there, transaction is there. If it is rightly said, there cannot be a transaction without a voucher, and there cannot be a voucher for which no entry has been, no recording has been done in the books of accounts. So chartered accountant's role is nothing but to check whether all the transactions have been recorded as per the vouchers or not. Vouchers are very much important. Do the fourth term. Number 4 is the capital. Children, this is a very important point to understand in accounting. What is capital? As soon as you ask anybody, literally it's the meaning of the word capital means the capital of a particular state or a country. But in accounting, this particular term, if you ask any businessman, what is your capital? He will say, oh, capital, I have invested rupees 5 lakhs into my business. So that is what he is saying, that he has invested into his business 5 lakhs. But what was your question? The question is, what is capital? Children, capital can be defined as anything which is, or you can say, amount invested into the business by the owner in the form of cash or personal assets. For example, I started a business, a small business, and invested rupees 50,000 in cash and started doing my business. I purchased some products and I have to supply it to the various shopkeepers. So how will I go to various places? So at that time I needed a vehicle. I did not have money to buy a new vehicle for my business. I had a motorcycle of my own and I started using that motorcycle to supply the goods to the various people, to the various shopkeepers and the businessmen. So what have I started doing? I have started using my own personal motorcycle for the business purpose. So this will be also considered as capital. So capital is anything which is invested by the businessman into the business, and he can claim this at any point of time. That means whenever businessman wants, he can withdraw all these amount which he has invested into the business, and it is the liability of the business to pay this amount to the businessman. So it is also known as equity, owner's equity. That means the share. Equity means the share of the owner. Okay, and it is repayable to the businessman. To the, whatever amount has been invested, that will be returned to him at any point of time. So it is a liability for the business, that the business has to return money to the businessman. Always remember, children, in accounts, business and businessmen are considered as two separate units. They are not one. It can be, once again I repeat, it can be cash, it can be personal assets, or it can be both, which are invested into the business for, and remember that the amount which is invested into the business will help to increase the income of the business. Okay, suppose I started a business, I had an old machinery, so I may use that old machinery for continuing my new business, so that will increase my earning in future. So that is my capital, or the business capital of the business. Now children, frequently I have been using right now the term assets. Question is, what is assets? Many a times when I ask this question to students of accountancy, they often say, sir, land, building, plant, machinery, these are my assets. Cash, that is my asset. Cash which is kept in the bank, that is my asset. But I say, children, they are all the examples. What are the assets? Then they will say, oh sir, you want to know about the assets. Current assets, fixed assets, tangible assets, they are all assets. I said, children, you are once again using the word suffix assets in front of all these current assets, fixed assets. My question is, what are assets? So assets, children, are something which are owned by the business. Anything which is under the ownership of the business will be considered as assets, and remember, it increases the earning of business in future. Always remember, assets are all those things, the benefit of which you will enjoy in future. You will get the income and profit because of them in future. They will be considered as your assets. For example, I have land. So what will happen with this? On this land, I may construct a building, I may construct a factory and start doing the production. Because of that, I will do the production and I will be able to earn profit. So what is happening? This land and building is giving me profit. When? In future. Future means what? Future does not mean after 10 years. In accounts, future means the next day also. If anything is able to give you profit next day, that must be also considered as an asset. So all those things which will give you profit in future, or which will increase your earning capacity in future, must be considered as an asset. But at the same time, they must be under your possession. For example, if this pen is there with which I can write on the board, and if it belongs to me, I have purchased this, so this is my asset. But I have to write it and I borrowed it. Hey bhai, give me a pen, I want to write it. So I have, in that case, I have borrowed this pen. So anything which has been borrowed by somebody cannot be my asset. Assets are only those which are owned by me, and this will give me benefit in the future. They are called assets. There are various types of assets. The various types of assets we are going to discuss right now is the intangible assets. As the name suggests, what do you mean by intangible? Intangible means something which cannot be seen or touched. They can be just felt, like goodwill. Goodwill of the business is intangible asset because they cannot be seen. Patent is an intangible asset. Copyright is an intangible asset. License, it is an intangible asset because they all cannot be seen. They can't be touched. But all these will give me profit in future. If I have earned a good name in the market, so because of that goodwill of mine, I will be able to earn higher profit in future. So that will be considered my asset, but they are intangible. Second one is tangible assets. Tangible assets are those assets which can be seen, which have physical existence. So all those assets which can be seen and touched and have physical existence are referred as tangible assets, like land, building, plant, machinery, cash, debtors, stock, etc. So all these will be considered as tangible assets. Children, the third type of assets are called current assets. Now let us understand what are current assets. Children, all the assets which can be converted into cash within 1 year or 12 months or within one accounting cycle or within one operating cycle, one operating cycle is referred as current assets. Once again, I would request that current assets are all those assets which can be converted into cash. That means these are those assets which help or which can be converted into cash. They are meant to be converted into cash. We acquire them, we get them only for getting converted into cash. For example, the raw materials which you buy. What will you do with the raw materials if you are a businessman and you produce goods and services? So what will you do with the raw materials? You will convert the raw materials into finished products, sell it into the market and get cash. So all the assets which you can convert into cash within 1 year or 12 months or one operating cycle is known as current assets, like cash in hand, like debtors. We will talk about debtors just after this. We have stock. We may have cash, debtors, stock, prepaid. We may use it as so these are considered as your current assets because they can be converted into cash. We can also use bills receivable. Bills receivable is another current assets which you can use to convert it into cash within 1 year or 12 months. The next term is non-current assets. Non-current assets, or somewhere it is also called as fixed assets. It is also known as blocked money which remains blocked. So children, non-current assets, as the name suggests, are those assets which are not purchased for resale purpose. Current assets are purchased for resale purpose, but non-current assets are not purchased for resale purpose. They are purchased for generating profit or income in future. They help the business in earning more profit, in creating more income in future. They are not meant for resale. They cannot be converted, can't be converted into cash very easily. They are used for a very long period of time, like we use land, building, plant and machinery, furniture. Okay, so these all are considered as the non-current assets because they are used for a very long period of time. They are non-recurring in nature. They are non-recurring in nature. We do not buy them again and again, but current assets are recurring in nature. They are such which are repeatedly purchased and sold, but they are not meant for they are not recurring in nature. They are not purchased for resale purpose. They increase the earning capacity, but current assets do not increase the earning capacity of the business, but they help to sustain the same level, maintain the same level of income. The next type of assets are the liquid assets. Now, what are liquid assets? Children, liquid assets are those assets, or they are a type of current assets itself. So you can consider liquid assets as current assets which can be converted into cash within a very short span of time. Mostly we consider within 90 days. So all those assets which can be converted into cash within a short span of time is known as liquid assets. All the current assets are considered as liquid assets except stock and loose tools, inventory. Stock, inventory and prepaid expenses. Any expenses which we have paid in advance, they are not considered as liquid asset. So except these terms, all other assets are considered as liquid assets. The next type of assets which we have to discuss is the wasting asset. Children, wasting assets are those assets which have a limited life, which are used only for a limited period of time. For example, I have taken a mine. I own a mine from which I am extracting coal. So what will be the lifespan of that mine? It will be only for that period of time till the coal can be extracted out of it. As soon as the coal gets over and it is completely extracted, that means we cannot use it any further. So mines are a type of wasting assets, or even the machines which are used over there in the mines to extract coal, that will be also considered as a wasting asset, because once the machines which are used to extract coal and other minerals are very heavy, they are installed with a lot of expenditure, and once it is everything is done, the cost of bringing it out will be more than the value of the asset. That is why we don't bring it out, we leave it over there in the mine itself. So they are considered as wasting assets. The last type of asset which we have to discuss is the fictitious assets. What are fictitious assets? Children, fictitious assets are those assets which do not have a market value. Suppose you sell land, so you will get money. You sell building, you get money. You sell cash, means debtors, you get money. You sell your stock, you get money. But fictitious assets are those assets which, when are sold in the market, there is no money received by selling it. For example, the expenses, advertisement expenses, heavy advertisement expenses which are done by the business, research and development expenses which have been done by the business on a large scale. So the benefit of it will be enjoyed over a long period of time, but they do not have, we cannot sell it into the market. we will not get any money. They are the part which is related to, suppose there is 10 lakh rupees of research done, means we have spent rupees 10 lakh on the research, and we know that the benefit is going to be used in 5 years. So every year 2 lakh rupees will be used by the business. So this 2 lakh rupees will be shown on the debit side of profit and loss account every year, and the remaining 8 lakhs for the first year will be shown in the balance sheet. Once again, next year 2 lakh will be shown on the PL debit side, and now out of 8 lakhs 2 lakh has been used in the second year, so 6 lakhs will go to the balance sheet. That means they are shown in the balance sheet as the residual amount which will be carried forward to the next year. The next point which we are going to discuss are the debtors. They are also known as trade debtors. Means they are the debtors who are used in the trade, that is business. Who are debtors? Children, many a times when we sell goods, sometimes we sell goods for cash. When we sell goods, we get cash instantly. But most of the time what happens that we have to sell goods on credit. So debtors are those person, firm or institution to whom goods are sold on credit and payment has not yet been received. We have sold the goods, but we have not received the money. So they are called debtors. The another term are the creditors. Same thing happens when we buy goods, when we purchase goods. Sometimes we pay cash in business. Most of the time the goods which we buy are on credit. So they are, creditors are also those persons or firms or institutions from whom goods are purchased or have been purchased on credit and payment has not yet been made. That means we have purchased the goods on credit and we have not yet paid. We have not yet paid. We will pay in future. So such type of terms, they are known as debtors and creditors. They are also called trade debtors or sundry debtors. There is another term which we use, sundry debtors. Sundry means total. Similarly, for creditors also we use trade creditors, or we also use sundry creditors. So sundry means the total amount to which we are supposed to pay to creditors is known as sundry creditors. Children, in today's video we will do only these many points. In the next video, which I will upload very soon, will contain the rest of the basic accounting terms. Thank you.